Welcome everybody to another episode of SwimBikeRunAlabama. I am Parker Edmiston, here with my co-host Doug Tinkham, and we're here thanks to Straight to Hell. Straight to Hell is a huge sponsor of our show and have been, and if you're looking for a nice brew here locally, you want to go and have some fun, go over to Straight to Hell. They're on Lehman Ferry Road, and tell Matt and the guys that we gave them a plug. We're here today, though, Doug, with a new friend of ours, and he's in charge of the Downtown Huntsville, Inc., and that is Chad Emerson. Chad, thanks for being here today.
Hey, thanks to be here, and I agree with you on the Straight to Hell plug. That's a great way to spend a weekend afternoon.
You know, I met Chad, Doug, probably a year or so ago. He came and spoke to our local bar association, the attorneys here in town. And I was just really excited to find out, and as you know, there's so many things happening in downtown Huntsville.
That's right.
Chad's what's your title there?
So technically the president and CEO of Downtown Huntsville, Inc.
Okay, what does Downtown Huntsville, Inc. do?
Yeah, so basically the city has hired us or subcontracted with us to revitalize downtown. Now what we ask this question a lot is, think of a really cool city you like to go to, maybe in Austin or Chattanooga or Raleigh. Can you think of a really cool city that doesn't also have a really cool downtown?
Absolutely, yeah. I mean,
Detroit.
Yeah. Well,
and I grew up in Detroit, so
yeah.
Even there.
I'm from Michigan too.
Yeah. Go Blue.
So
it used to be cool.
Yeah. So you've got these things, when you go to Chattanooga, very lively, very active, and that's what I think Chad's trying to do here in Huntsville is bring those activities to make you want to come downtown with the family and spend time in Huntsville.
When you think about downtown Huntsville, I mean, we have something right next to our downtown that most places don't have in their city limits. It's a state park. You think of Montesano State Park, all the land trust trails we were talking about earlier. A lot of places you have to drive, 15, 20, maybe 30 minutes out of town to experience that. Here, you can literally walk or bike from downtown to Montesano. And so for us, the outdoor lifestyle, the running, the biking, all of that stuff fits perfectly into the culture of downtown Huntsville.
Well, you do have Monsanto that's close, and people take advantage of that all the time. We've got mountain bikers that come in here and trail runners all the time talk about that great facility. But someone that's wanting to come down to Huntsville and spend the day or spend the weekend, what does downtown Huntsville have to offer those folks?
Yeah, so first of all, we have Big Spring Park, which is this beautiful park that kind of winds all the way from the historic square all the way down to the hotels and convention centers. You think about the Von Braun Center. You have an arena where you can see minor league hockey and Elton John in the same place. You have you got a mix of Cirque du Soleil is there. You've got right next to it a performance hall, state of the art. You got a black box theater, and then you have an exhibit hall. So it's all in one facility as opposed to kind of spread throughout downtown. So a lot of people like to come downtown, maybe stay the weekend, go to a Havoc game or a UAH hockey game in the winter, or go to a concert, and then enjoy Big Spring Park and just go for a jog, go for a walk, and of course feed the ducks.
You got a lot of great restaurants around there too, don't you?
Yeah, one of the things we're really proud of downtown is when you get up kind of out of the park, you have some of the better cuisine that we think anywhere. I mean, we think it's variety too. You have everything from sandwich shop and coffee shops to fine dining, and it's all within probably a 5-minute walk. And you have Below the Radar, for instance, a great brew pub there, and you have Cotton Row, and you have everything in between. Here's the reality. If you want something to eat, you can find it in downtown. If you want something to drink, you can find it in downtown. Most places can't say they have that big wide variety within a short walk.
Well, yeah, and I think that's key, is being able to pull into town, park your car, and then not get back into your car to be entertained all day. And you have that here in Huntsville.
That is the feel that you're talking about of that downtown you just got to go to.
We have these big wide sidewalks, and you have, again, the parks, beautiful architecture. By and large, we were, besides you do have the county courthouse right in the middle of it all, but by and large, most of the historic buildings around the square were kept. And so you have this great architecture that people will walk around and do architectural tours. And then you just have this great outdoor atmosphere, and you can always know that, especially now that we've really kicked things up, this summer, every Thursday and Friday night, there will be some type of live music for free going on in downtown Huntsville.
Well, you talk about the restaurants and the different feel that you get for dining out, anywhere from a sandwich to fine dining downtown. Doug and I went to a great place, maybe my new favorite restaurant in Huntsville is Humphreys. And
yeah,
Humphreys,
that was excellent.
You know, we ate there a couple times now. And
Great atmosphere out back.
Yeah, you go out back and it looks almost like you're in New Orleans.
Oh, yeah.
You know, you got the wrought iron there, and then again, that's you park. That's a minute from the downtown square.
Best patio in the Southeast, in our opinion.
I agree. If you want to get on your website, how do folks get on there?
Downtown Huntsville, all spelled out, downtownhuntsville.org. We're very active on Twitter at Downtown HSV, Instagram, Downtown HSV, and then Downtown Huntsville on Facebook. All the information, those 4 places.
And you're going to keep everybody up to date on what's happening in Huntsville. Chad, we appreciate you being here.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks, Chad.
We'll be back after these messages.
Is it all one word, downtown Huntsville?
.org, yeah. That's about 6 minutes.
All right, welcome back, everybody, to another segment here on Swim Bike Run Alabama. Sponsored by Straight to Ale Brewery here in Huntsville. And our guest for this segment is Allie Meeks from ReadySetSweat.net.
It only took us 14 weeks to learn that and get it right. Welcome, Allie.
Sounds good.
Speak for yourself, young man. It took me 12. Yeah.
And you nailed it,
I
Parker.
know.
We did have a 2-week break from Allie, remember? She was gone.
Yeah, I cried those 2 weeks.
It was a sad day.
So tell me, Allie, you're here, and I'm getting out in the pool now, and I even ventured to open water. I'll just tell you that. See,
Nice.
I
You got one
snuck
coming up.
Snuck an open water swim in. Tell us about weight training for swimming.
So weight training for swimming is something that most people want to start doing a little earlier in the season. So we probably should have talked about this a few weeks ago, but that's okay. We can still talk about it now. It's a good thing to do year round. People think sometimes that weights are things we only do in the preseason, but if you can build strength any time of year, you can do it. So,
Early season?
early season.
Is
Yeah.
someone
It's
doing
still
stuff
early.
yet? Yeah,
It's still early. That's true.
So I'd like to get you some 25-pound weights, Parker.
Yeah, we'll
and
start
take
there.
you to the pool.
Right.
That's what you mean, right?
Yes, exactly.
Time around
Start
his
with
feet.
the heaviest weight you can. Oh, right. So
Do you remember my bag story?
Your bag story?
Being tied in the bag by my dad?
Ah,
Learn how to swim.
I
thought
remember
that was
that.
a cat.
Oh, a cat was in there too. It
Ah.
survived.
All right, focus, guys.
All right. Weight training. So I'm in the
Weight training.
gym. I'm pumping iron.
With
Yes.
a roll of nickels.
So some good exercises for getting ready for swimming. We want to think about your lats, which are the big muscles kind of in the back of your back.
Or the not so big muscles.
Right, depending on if you've been doing your weight training. Also the rhomboids, which kind of are around your shoulder blade. You want to think about those kind of muscles. Your triceps are really important, and those are the ones on the backs of your arms. The ones that when you wave, if they jiggle, you need to do some tricep exercises. And then, of course, the delts, which are the front of the shoulders. So any exercise you can do that engages those is good.
No mention of legs.
Not yet.
Okay.
Starting with the arms.
So you
because-
don't need legs, is what you're saying
No,
on
we
swimming.
We do. It's just that for most people, their weak link is their arms, because in cycling and running, your legs generally are fairly strong if you're doing those things regularly.
Not for kicking.
Then again, right, depending on the person. So some good exercises I can think of for swimming would be lat pull downs, which is the one where there's a bar that goes straight across that's bent at the side. You sit and you pull the weight down. It's usually in the gym. That one is, I think, one of the best exercises that you can do for your lats.
Soon-to-be attorney Doug Tinkham.
Yeah.
Never ask a question you don't know the answer to, but here goes.
Okay.
Allie, do you have anything on your website where someone can go in and look at weight training exercises?
Not yet. That's an excellent question, Parker.
I did notice she's got the side-by-side, though.
Yeah. Yeah.
She updates her website about like we update ours.
No, I do. It actually primarily in response to Parker's question, so that's a good one.
Excellent.
So
You
I'll
didn't
have
like
to do that.
the Reagan photo that was there?
Well, another thing that's really helpful, again, for the chest and for the front of the body are your push-ups and pull-ups. And I like to do these in combo, where I do a workout that's push-ups and pull-ups together and just exhaust those muscles at the same time. It does make you sore the next day because those are strong and tough muscles to use, but I like to combine those. And you can do narrow push-ups where you're going to work your triceps more. You can do wide push-ups where you're going to work your back more. Be careful with that, though. Don't get the hands too wide. You just want them slightly wider than shoulder so you can work on your back muscles. And then combine those with your pull-ups. Do some narrow, some wide, things like that.
So on your Facebook page and your website that you're going to have this exercise regimen on,
Right.
how long will it take you to put that on your website?
Not too long. I bet I could have it up this week.
I think it'd be cool to have that where you could, an easy resource to go to
Yeah,
and
for
say,
sure.
hey, these are swim-specific weight training activities, follow this.
Mm-hmm.
Now, how often does someone have to weight train per week?
Well, you don't really want to work the same muscle groups the consecutive days, so you want to give a little bit of space in between. So I would say 2, no more than 3 weight sessions a week, especially just for if you're just doing upper body. Now,
Right.
if you're doing your legs, you're going to combine those. You can do 3 weight sessions a week.
All right, so you go upper body one day, and then what's the leg exercises that you would do?
So good leg exercises would be the ones where you're going to engage the quads, which are your primary muscles for kicking in freestyle, and also your hamstrings. So you can do all manner of interesting things with the ball and, with your body weight, but just the good old-fashioned leg extensions and hamstring curls are also good. Squats are awesome. Those work the hamstrings and the rear end. So just thinking of general weight exercises that are easy to explain by the radio, those are, or podcasts, those are the ones that I would recommend. And of
Okay.
course, we're going to talk in the next segment about my favorite type of swimming exercise, which is tubing.
I thought that was riding down the river drinking a beer.
It is for
too.
Doug.
So most gyms that you go to will have the exercise where they're fixed weights. Will those be the type of machines that someone can go to and just use those rather than free weights?
You can. The free weights take a little bit more expertise for someone that's maybe new to the sport. It may be easier to use the machines that are a little bit more intuitive, whereas if you have a trainer or someone who can show you how to do the free weights, there's a lot of good moves for that, so I can help somebody's interested in learning. And I'm actually thinking about in the fall doing a series of clinic Saturdays or a weeknight where we do look at some body weight or some minimal equipment dryland exercises for strengthening swimming.
Are there exercises that you can do to strengthen your upper body without using weights in preparation for swim season?
Yeah, things like the pull-ups and push-ups that we were talking about that are just body weight exercises. You can actually do, one of my favorite things is called walkout push-ups, where you just stand,
That's
reach
your
down to your
favorite
toes,
thing?
walk out, walk back. Well, the reason why is it
You need to
burns.
get it. Oh, you mean workout? favorite
Yeah,
thing.
it burns the arms, and for me, that outer delt right there on the outside of the arm, oh man, I don't know if that's the scientific term, but that one right there, that burns when you do those walkout push-ups, and for me, that's the exact muscle that burns when I get tired in swimming. So it's a great combo.
When you start weight training and you develop those muscles a little more than just when you're swimming, how's that going to translate to a better swim time?
You're going to have stronger muscles that have more endurance in them. So they start out more powerful, and they can exercise at a higher wattage for a longer period of time without getting fatigued.
Well, Doug's
Oh, here it comes.
a tremendous athlete, and he does some weight training. He has a great gym at home. Can you get too weight specific in your training for swimming?
Not in terms of doing swimming specific exercises. You can do too many of the wrong things that don't really translate to what you're doing in the movement of swimming. So be thinking about how the movement looks and what muscles you're using, and try to
How about how it
replicate.
should look?
How it should look,
Yeah.
yes. Yes. You don't need to do 1,000 cleans.
And so your recommendation is follow the website,
There you
Ready, Set, Sweat.
go. Soon to be added.
And you're going to have it added soon, and just follow that and follow Allie's advice. And listen, we appreciate you coming back in today.
Absolutely.
See you next week, Allie.
We'll be back after these messages.
Now I gotta make a note
I couldn't quit looking at your arms.
because I was doing this.
And welcome back, everybody. I'm Parker Edmiston. I'm here with my co-host, Doug Tinkham. And we have a special guest in the studio with us for this segment, Matt Broadhurst from Straight to L.
Also our sponsor.
Straight to L has been a sponsor of the show now for many weeks, and we appreciate the support that we receive from Straight to L. Of course, the finest brewery known to man, right here in Huntsville, Alabama. Matt, thanks for being here today.
As always, thanks for having me.
Matt, you told us before you sat down about something that's very exciting for microbrews for Straight to L, and that is your total domination in Alabama.
No, the first exciting thing he said is, does someone have an opener?
That is true.
Yeah.
I can't believe I forgot.
And so what's going on with Straight to L and the expansion?
Well, expansion it's underway. We're finally getting into the detail points of moving into stone.
World
with
domination.
that. We're maxed out capacity wise, but we're still opening some markets that we can fill. We're going back to Chattanooga. We've been there, we kind of got out of it, now we're back. And the big one for us is Memphis. If you've ever been to Memphis as a craft beer drinker, it's kind of a funky little market. It's really congested. It's all really close together. All the breweries there are all within what feels like 8 blocks of each other.
Within walking distance.
Yeah, it's perfect.
Which is a good thing for a brewery.
But we've kind of passed over it. We've gone up there, we've looked at it, we're like, we went back 4 months ago, and something changed. I'm not sure what it was. We loved it. We went up there, we met some distributors. We got a fantastic distributor behind us, A.S. Barbaro. Those guys are just going a whole hog for us. We're going to be up there the 18th, kicks off Memphis Beer Week. They're launching us that day.
Okay.
And then we're going to be there all week long, doing events, hanging out, selling beer, drinking beer, having a good time.
So when you decide to go into a place like Memphis, I mean, what steps do you take? I mean, how do you go in and get distributed?
So what we do is we'll sneak up to markets. Like Dan Perry, our owner, and I will take a day trip or 2 days, and we'll go to a market we're interested in. We'll talk to bar owners. We'll go drink local beer. We'll talk to other breweries. Who's your best distributor? Who do you guys like? Why do you like them?
Damn, that's a tough job.
It is.
Doug, I'm writing my resume as we speak. Now, how do I get that job?
And so we'll go up there.
Drive.
We chit chat with the locals and get a feel for what distributors people like, and then we'll come back. We'll talk about them. We'll send out some emails, make some phone calls. Then we go up and talk to the individual distributors. Sometimes you go into them and they're just like not interested. They just they already have enough brands. They don't want to add one more. Sometimes, like when we went to Memphis, A.S. Barbaro was just Ashley, their craft manager, was just all over it. She had sometimes you go in and you got to do the work. So when you go in and they've got this full on display of all your beer, and they're ready for you. And you just know that's the person to sign with. And then you have to go through all the contracts and all the boring stuff and selling beer. But
You have to hire the lawyer to actually read those contracts.
I see how you slid
See,
right in there.
Again, the resume.
Oh, wait, you don't specialize in that.
Page 2 of the
you
resume.
know what? I don't specialize in either, but I'm the guy that writes the contract.
There's no.
I think you got it in.
Page 46. Yeah.
I can cut your grass.
It's only a 2-page contract, so it's not that hard.
Good. Yeah, well, when you're selling an excellent product, I mean, it sells itself. What paperwork do you need to do? When you go into Memphis, you have to, I guess, break into the market. Folks already know Straight to Hell.
Yeah. Ashley up there just did a radio interview with, like they have Memphis, for instance, has its own craft brew radio show. And
wow.
she got on there and she talked us up, but one of the guys was like, as soon as she said he's like, Straight to Hell. He like finished the sentence for her. He's like, I couldn't tell you how excited I am those guys are coming. The other guy was kind of like, I've heard of them. I've had a couple of their beers. He's like, I know them more from Beer Advocate and Rate Beer. That I just know that they've gotten some awards and stuff. But we're familiar. We're regional to them, so a lot of people already know us. When we posted on our Twitter that we were coming there, we've never gotten more followers or retweets ever on our Twitter feed than when we said we're coming to Memphis.
And so you got this support, groundswell already. What do you expect from Memphis and Chattanooga? What's that going to do for your brand?
Oh, it's going to round off the rest of Tennessee for us. We already, we're in Nashville. We're in 99% of the rest of Tennessee. Finishing off, Tennessee is going to be big for us. It just kind of gets those nooks and crannies filled. And it gets the customers that want it. Chattanooga, we get more emails and phone calls from people in Chattanooga saying, why can't I find your beer?
Are you going to be brewing 24 hours a day now, or how are you going to keep up with demand?
Yeah, we were actually just having a big meeting about this before I came in here, talking about, we live or die by our schedule. We've got time frames we have to meet. Right now we're pushing those. It's getting really tight. Where we've actually, before we always the brewers worked a 9 to 5, give or take. We've had to start rotating shifts. We've had to start just pumping it out. But then once you fill all the tanks, you're on standstill. You can't do anything about it.
You can drink.
Well, yeah, we can drink.
Well, I guess that's the limiting factor is how much capacity do you have?
Yeah, which is the huge step of us moving to stuff.
Yeah, I was just going to say your new
That's
location.
in the works. We're finally getting into details on it. We've had engineers out there looking at floors and trying to figure out how to make a brewery work in there.
Remind everybody about what the plans are there at the middle school.
Yeah, so Stone Middle School for us is, right now we're in a 10,000 square foot facility. We're going to go up to a 55,000 square foot facility. It's going to quadruple our capacity. We're going to upgrade our brew house, which would make us the largest brewery production-wise in Alabama. So it's huge for us. We need it right now. We've gotten a lot of momentum behind us, and we're just trying to keep it going. And we need stone to do it.
Well,
That's a great problem to have.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, yeah, when demand is out there and you have a problem meeting that demand just because you can't work long enough and fast enough and hard enough, you work hard, fast, and long, but you just don't have that capacity. We look forward to the Stone Middle School coming on, and that's going to be the fall of this year?
That's what we're shooting for. Yeah. You know, once we get the fine little details fixed, it's full steam ahead. It's just it'll happen before you know it.
Well, tell me, I guess this question, I don't know, is when you start to brew a beer, I guess it takes different times to brew a light beer versus a dark beer versus, or does it?
It's not even that simple. You know, like our Sand Island, which is the lightest thing we make, takes longer to brew than just about anything else we do.
Okay.
It's just the style of beer, the yeast that's used. You know,
I think that'd be a great segment just to kind of talk about how you brew beer.
Yeah,
Because I think everybody that drinks it has a certain level of interest in it.
Yeah, you know, our tours, we do a free tour on Saturday. Man, I had Saturday off, and I'm like, I'm just going to go to the brewery and be a guy at the brewery. I ended up having to work because the tour came in, it was 50 people.
Wow.
You know, and they're 90% of them from out of town. They just have heard that we do a free tour on Saturday. They show up at 2, you know, get 4 free samples and get a tour of the brewery.
I know what I'm doing Saturday.
Yeah,
You were saying, what do you want to do this weekend?
So yeah, I guess as an athlete or triathlete or wannabe triathlete myself, when I go into a town, first places I look for, where's your brew?
The Med Plus.
Where's your coffee shop? You know, where's your bike shop? Where's your running shop? And so that's on the list of people of things I want to do.
You know, the first thing you look for is the medical emergency facility.
Well, you know, I'm clumsy, Doug, and so why you want to bring that up? I got my Blue Cross Blue Shield card right here. Yeah. But so it's so cool to go into a brew pub or to a craft beer place and watch, you know, the steps that it takes. And y'all have this cool building that you can go in and look at the brewing process.
Yeah, we're pretty open about letting customers come in and see what we do. We're not trying to hide anything. We're not doing anything crazy. There's no real mystery to what we do. It's just a lot of hard work. So we invite customers to come in and check us out anytime.
And so you got the tours on Saturday, but feel free to stop by there on Lehman Ferry Road, straight to L. Follow them on Facebook. They've got a lot of events happening in Huntsville. Matt, thanks for being here, and we look forward to seeing you next week.
Awesome, appreciate it.
We'll be back after these messages on Swim Bike Run Alabama. Camera. All right, welcome back, everybody, to another segment here on Swim Bike Run Alabama. We're broadcast on WTKI in Huntsville, WEKI in Decatur. We're sponsored by Straight to L Brewery.
And we appear to be in the 70s with that intro.
I like that.
Yeah, little sticks.
Listen, we got a special guest in studio for this segment, and that is Chris Levin. Chris Levin from Bicycle Cove. Chris, thanks for being here.
Thank you.
Chris, we're going to talk today about aero wheels. I've got a friend of mine who asked me just the other day about should he buy a set of aero wheels, is that going to help his speed? And so let's start with that.
Yeah, I always say that after you purchase a set of nice aerodynamic wheels, it's like getting free speed. Essentially, the rotating mass of the rim cuts through the wind a lot easier. So at a consistent speed like you'd be doing in a triathlon event, you would definitely be using less energy to power the bike.
Now, when you say aero wheels, are we starting at 50 and going up, or does 50 even count?
Actually, you can gain an aerodynamic advantage at something as shallow as 30 millimeters.
Wow.
And so now for 30 millimeters, explain to everyone who's listening about the difference in the sizes.
Yeah, so there's varying depths of the rim itself, starting at the top of the brake track down to where the spoke goes into the rim, and you can have something as shallow as 30 millimeters or as deep as 90 millimeters. And the deeper the rim, the more aerodynamic it's going to be at speed.
And so just a standard rim would be what millimeter?
A standard rim, like a traditional box section, approximately around 25 millimeters.
And so just that 5 difference, 5 millimeter difference, you're going to see a change.
Yeah, that, and also the way that they shape the rim as well. And most of your traditional rims almost look like a box. That's why they call them box sections. So when you get an aerodynamic wheel, it's actually shaped so that it will cut through the wind. So you add 5 millimeters, shape it just right, and it'll go.
How often do you have triathletes that come into the store, or cyclists that come into the store and ask, I ride this type of rides. I'm a century rider, I'm a crit rider, I'm a triathlete. What do I need for my bike?
Oh, we get that question all the time. I mean, it's the number one upgrade you can do to any bike, whether it's road, tri, and that's because that's something you can feel the difference. You can take a casual cyclist to a elite level cyclist. You put a set of nice high-end aero wheels on there, and you can tell.
Are they always carbon?
Not necessarily. I mean, you can get a lot of your 30 millimeter rims are aluminum, but most of the time people are looking for carbon.
Okay.
And so when you got someone that comes in and then say they're a triathlete and they're going to do a sprint or Olympic distance, how do you match that cyclist or that triathlete with the rim?
A lot of times, because they're making such a huge investment, you want to try to get a wheel that's going to cover all their bases, not just on race day. I mean, if you're plunking down $3,000, which is almost the cost of probably their bike, they should be able to use it every single day, and I firmly believe that. So,
are they strong enough to be used every day?
Absolutely. Yeah,
Really?
I mean, most of your really good quality carbon aero wheels are going to have 5-year warranties, and very few of them actually have weight limits. And so we just try to match the right depth to most of their riding.
Why did he look at me when he said weight
Because I was waiting for you.
No, I'm saying Chris said there was a weight limit, and he looked at me.
No,
What the
you were
world is
looking
that
at me
about?
smiling.
No. And so there's not a weight limit on the rider. You want a versatile rim where you can use it every day. Now you scare people, I imagine, at the several $1,000s. Is there a low end that does the same versus a high end?
Yeah, so the really expensive ones, you're talking full carbon, a lot of your stuff that's made in the USA, like your Zips and your Bontrager wheels. Envy's another company that makes nice wheels, but there are alternatives where they're not using as much carbon. They'll do like an aluminum rim and wrap it with a carbon fairing to increase the aerodynamics, but drastically reduce the cost, almost cutting it in half. So there are ways to get out inexpensive, in the grand scheme of things, inexpensive aero wheels for sure.
And so is the durability of those the same, or?
Actually, yeah, the only negative to a aluminum rim wheel with a carbon fairing is they're just heavy. And so it takes a little bit more energy to get them up to speed, but once they're up to speed, they roll really well.
What about climbing? Is there a difference with an aero wheel climbing, the weight, the strength, the flex?
Yeah, so the deeper the carbon aero wheel, the heavier it's going to be. And so if you're using this really deep section wheel, it's ideal for flat races. So you want to basically reduce the depth of the rim to make climbing easier.
So you need 2 sets.
Absolutely.
Well, I told Doug, and I know these things go by grams of weight. I asked Doug, I said, Doug, how do I get rid of 10 grams off my bike? And he slapped a Snicker bar out of my hand. And I just said, that's not right, man. But that goes back to the weight thing. Mm-hmm. Listen, Chris, we appreciate it, you coming in. We appreciate Bicycle Cove for all they do for triathletes in the area. Very interesting topic. Go down and see Bicycle Cove, see Chris there. Ask him these questions in person, and we'll be back right after these messages.
Thanks, guys.
All right, welcome back, everybody, to another segment on Swim Bike Run Alabama.
Wait, who is that knocking at the window? It's Suzanne Erickson.
Suzanne Erickson.
Come on in, Suzanne.
Oh, come in, Suze. Oh, it's good to see you again today. Suzanne Erickson, ultra marathoner extraordinary,
Lover of
triathlete,
Straight to Ale.
Lover of Straight to Ale.
Our sponsor.
Multi-Ironman finisher, just an extraordinary athlete. And we've got Suzanne Erickson in studio today to talk about Bicycle Cove's women's cycling team. Thanks for being here, Suzanne.
Thank you for having me once again.
It's great to have you.
Suzanne, you wrote a blog or an article that we were able to post on our website recently about starting the cycling team and getting ready to do our team time trial.
Time trials and tribulations.
That's right.
That would have been
I
a
feel
good
like
name.
I should have
That's a
called
good
it. I
name.
should have asked you what to name
That's
it.
Yeah, there you go. That was it.
You don't tell Picasso what to paint, and you don't tell Twain what to write. You
I just
simply-
got that.
You just got that?
That was good.
All right. Suzanne told us about her team, which is training for the Lake Gunnersville Team Time Trial on Sunday, May 3rd, and it's a women's team that she's on. Suzanne, how did you decide how to get ready for a time trial?
Right. So I know very little about cycling, in an event like a team time trial because it's so different from riding in a triathlon event. I didn't know too much. I did watch a few YouTube videos. I picked the brains of a couple of cyclists that competed last year. I was able to watch the event last year because I helped as a volunteer. So Chris Levin, the owner over at Bicycle Cove, gave me some guideline on who he would like to be on the team. And so I was able to corral 4 female cyclists, Dr. Alicia Krechev, Chrissy Freeman, Victoria Dutton, and myself, and we have practiced twice without harming ourselves or each other, and that's I feel good just about that aspect of it.
How do you go from being a cyclist where you just cycle yourself and you may be in a time trial or you may be in a race where you ride by yourself to getting used to riding with people in a group in time trial?
Right.
Time trial.
So you need to be pretty familiar with some of their cycling habits, and that's one thing. The 4 of us don't ride together. We haven't ever ridden together until we practiced these 2 times. Chrissy and Alicia train together, but with the people that I ride with a lot, I know their body movements. If I'm riding behind them and I can see them shift on the seat or do something, I kind of know what's going to happen on the bike, and that's part of just practicing for the team time trial, is being confident with what that cyclist is going to do, the one in front of you and the one behind you, because you don't really want the whole line to go down. So we've just been trying to practice together, moving quickly, but also with signals and things like that.
How tight are you guys riding?
We are riding pretty tight, and it can get a little scary. Alicia said when the first practice, how about the first person and the last person in the line be an arrow? And I said, I only ride an arrow. I just ride an arrow. That's how I ride. And she kind of gave me a look, and I said, I'll try my best not to hurt you. So it's been good. It's been okay. But we ride very closely to each other, and we've been riding really fast. I mean, I'm talking a lot faster than I typically would ride on my own.
15, 16?
Well,
Come on.
24 to
Good
26
for
is
you.
kind of what we've been practicing, and
That's
honestly,
awesome.
I keep getting dropped.
Well, listen, we haven't covered this, Suzanne. We're going to need you back next week to talk more about this team time trial coming up at Lake Gunnersville on May the 3rd. Can you come back next week and talk to us about that?
That would be great.
Fantastic. We will be back after these messages here on Swim, Bike, Run, Alabama. Hi, welcome back, everybody, to another segment on Swim, Bike, Run, Alabama. I'm Parker Edmiston. I've got my co-host and friend Doug Tinkham.
Not
in
only
studio.
are we brought to you by Straight to Ale, but this is the We Run Huntsville segment. And not only will we be running Huntsville, hey, Straight to Ale, we will be running at Lake Gunnersville Triathlon Festival.
Lake Gunnersville Triathlon, May 2nd, May 3rd. It is Doug Tinkham's second race directing duties.
Oh, assistant to the director, not assistant director.
When you came into the program last year, Doug, and you got indoctrinated into Lake Gunnersville Triathlon, did you feel like you'd ever do that again?
I said, quote, I will never do this again.
Now look at you.
Whipping boy, that's what I
Look
was.
at you.
I finally snuck out there at the end, and Dawn caught me.
You know, I guess folks don't really realize the amount of work that a triathlon or a running event or any event takes to put on. And that's why it's so disheartening sometimes when you hear someone snipe about, well, you know, the volunteer handed me a half glass full of water. You know, it wasn't chilled. And
Some might say the glass was half full.
and we always say, what?
I'm glad there's some water.
Oh, thank gosh for the water. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, we've had a couple of races at Lake Gunnersville. One was in a driving sleet storm. It's probably, about 40 degrees at race time.
Oh, that was a good event.
One time.
Many hammers laid on the ground weeping, and you guys know who you are. I won't call any names.
Oh, you want to call one name?
I want to call one name.
Who do you want to call?
He's
Call
been
him
on
out.
the show. I'm just going to say he's been on the show.
And it rhymes with?
Callings.
Ravid Callings. So
Raven, you're on the line.
Raven will meet us in the parking lot and whip the dog out of both of us.
At
And
the
then
same
shoot
time.
us. Not to take us out of our mercy. Yeah.
Why would you say shoot?
Because Raven Rawlings. Oh, my, that's too much. Yeah, so we have a great time at Lake Gunnersville State Park. We'll be out there May 2nd and May 3rd. Still time to enter into the events. We have a triathlon festival, sprint triathlon, and an Olympic distance triathlon on Saturday morning. You can sign up for those events individually, or you can sign up for what we call the whole festival.
It's so cheap. You might as well sign up for the whole thing.
Well, and then, with that, we've got the duathlons, we have 3 cycling events. You just do those events that you want to. You don't have to do them all, and you can go on IamAthlete.com and register. As of this morning, Doug, we were 126% of what we were last year, so we're up 25% from last year.
It's really the first triathlon event of the season where you
It
can
is.
get a little open water swimming.
And I'll just tell you that I think the increase, the 26% increase, is because of Mr. Doug Tinkham. All the work that you do, my friend.
Yeah.
So, we look forward to hosting everybody out there at Lake Gunnersville State Park. If you're not a biker, then we have an aquathon where you can swim and then run. If you like to bike and swim, we've got something for everybody. We do want to encourage you to go on our website, SwimBikeRunAlabama.com. You can see us on our Facebook page and find all the up-to-date things. And what do we have? We got something going on this Sunday. Doug, what's that?
Well, we are going to have a training ride, run and swim, ride, run and swim. Swim last. We're going to do it backwards because it's probably going to be a little cold to get in the water at 1 o'clock. That's when we're kicking off. Bicycle Cove is going to lead us out with their expertise. And
Now, when people listen to this broadcast, they'll say, "Oh crap, that was
I
today.
missed that.
That was this morning.
Yeah,
that was today."
Or maybe they will say, "Hey, I was there.
I was there.
I had some straight to ale products and
They talked about
got
it.
to see Suzanne Erickson and her team." You'll be there, right?
Suzanne's going to be there at some point with their team, the women's team from Bicycle Cove. Bicycle Cove is going to be hosting the event Sunday, and we'll talk more about that on our Facebook page and our website. Doug, we want to encourage everyone today to go to IamAthlete.com and register for the event.
Or just go to our website, and the link is there.
Swim, Bike, Run, Alabama. We'll see y'all next week.
And you too, Suzanne.
Such a dork. I'm not supposed to be in here.
We've got our groupie